Hi everyone, welcome to the summit. Today we have Matthew Robinson on. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks. So for anyone that's not sort of come across you much, do you mind giving us a bit of background about where you started off in the dance world up to here?
Yeah, I mean, how far back do you want to go?
As far back as you want to go.
Okay. In terms of my background, I grew up in Devon, southwest, the southwest of England, in the countryside, and I started dancing through musical theatre and gymnastics, actually. So I was a gymnast when I was little, and I would say I probably started musical theatre when I was about 6 or 7 with things like jazz. And then when I moved to secondary school, we had dance and we had dance groups. And I remember, and that's probably where I discovered what was contemporary dance, although I didn't necessarily know that's what I was doing. And loved it. And from there, I was kind of encouraged to look at youth companies, like youth dance companies. So I went on to go to places like Plymouth Youth Dance Company and Devon Youth Dance Company, and a scheme called 4D, which was a scheme for young dancers like 16, 17 who were really wanting to go on and train. And that helped me a lot. I mean, when I look back as well, like I say, I grew up in the countryside, so and I was I didn't know at the time, but I identify as gay, and being part of. I look back and I realized being part of these dance groups and everything, they were really safe spaces for me. Really places where I could really express myself, and so it's it was. I realize now, looking back, how important they were in my development. And then from there, I auditioned for conservatoire schools, and I went to London Contemporary Dance School, and had a great time there. I was part of a really amazing year group that are doing really amazing things all around the world, and I felt very lucky. Looking back, I feel very lucky to have been part of that year group. It was it's really important, actually, the investment you pour into each other in your year group, and I feel like we were really invested in each other, excited about our differences, supportive of our ambitions, and so I did that, and then I was offered an apprenticeship at Scottish Dance Theatre, based in Dundee, in Scotland, and that was an amazing opportunity, and shaped me considerably, I would say. Living there, being part of that company, having experienced dance in London, and then experiencing what dance can be in a city like Dundee, really taught me a lot, and the responsibility we have as artists to the communities that we seek to speak to and represent. And I was there for about 8 years, nearly 8 years. I was an apprentice, and then I was asked to stay as a dancer. And then I was asked in 2013 if I would take on the responsibility of rehearsal direction for the company, and so I did that and kept dancing at the same time. And I worked with amazing people up there, 2 wonderful artistic directors, Janet Smith and Fleur Darkin, and lots of different guest choreographers that came to us that shaped me very much so. People like Damien Jallet, Sharon Ayal, Victor Quijada, many. I was very lucky. Many choreographers. And then in 2016, well, this is a biography. 2016, I was kind of pointed towards this job at Northern School of Contemporary Dance as Artistic Director of Verve, and decided to apply. I was already thinking about moving on, and then I arrived in Leeds in 2016, and I've been here now since then. Well, that was a bit long-winded. I apologize.
It's completely fine. What kind of motivated you to take that jump to Artistic Director of Verve?
What motivated me? Well, I mean, like I say, I was kind of pointed towards it. I had emails from colleagues saying, "Oh, have you seen this? Are you interested in this?" So it kind of made my attention go like, "Ah, okay, there's this opportunity." I'd been the rehearsal director at Scottish Dance Theatre by that point for nearly three years, and I had got a lot from that role. And the thing that I'd really enjoyed was supporting others in their development, and that was especially true for the apprentices that I'd become the mentor of, as well as part of that role. So I was looking after the development of the apprentices, it felt like there was an opportunity for me to transfer the knowledge that I'd been building in that role at Scottish Dance Theatre to a different context with somehow more responsibility. I think it was especially after the interview for the job that I was excited by the possibility, but after the interview, I really felt excited about what my perspective might bring to that role, and it really highlighted to me how passionate I am about development and helping people develop in their practice. And I felt I could make a difference in that role and also bring a kind of fresh perspective to it.
Nice. Sort of in Verve, you bring in different choreographers every year to work on productions. What's that process of networking with them? Are you just sort of reaching out to them one-on-one, or are you sort of pointed towards certain people to bring in? How's that process?
I commission about 3 or 4 choreographers every year. The process of meeting people, it's different with each person. I meet a lot of people and have worked with a lot of people. So there's that. There's also recommendation that I am part of a, because I've been working, I'm part of a network of people that I've worked with who might say, have you seen this work? What do you think of this? Or, I'm also always looking. I'm always researching. I'm always I try to see what's on in the region, but also what's happening beyond, and get to shows when I can. Obviously, not at the moment, and also sometimes people get in touch with me directly. Artists get in touch with me directly, and sometimes that's just out of the blue, and sometimes that's maybe a dancer that I know has contacted me and said, "Can I give your email address to this person?" And then they've contacted me. I'm like always up for the conversation. Who knows where the conversation will lead, but I'm always up for the conversation. And I think if there's a common interest, a mutual interest in working together, then I would move the conversation forwards. And the commissions for Verve, it's a specific context in a way. And there's a lot of responsibility to the artist and myself in the making of that work, and also the time. There's a specific time restraint. There's a casting obligation. There's all kinds of things that have to be met. So I take it quite seriously in making sure that it's the right commission for people, both for the benefit of the dancers in the room, but also the benefit of the artist. I would hate to bring someone in who then feels like the context undermines their work, if you see what I mean. It has to be something that feels right for everyone.
Would you say those choices are quite hard due to the fact it's sort of a postgraduate company, but also sort of an MA at the same time?
Is it hard? Because I think there's a lot of considerations in making commissions in any context, and I think there's a lot of factors that come into that consideration. And so yes, part of Verve's context is there's an MA, but part of any context where you're making commissions, I think there's a lot of different factors that should be considered as part of making decisions.
Yeah, nice. If we switch lanes for a moment, like obviously there's a lot of people starting to audition now in this weird and wacky time. Do you have some advice for people that, like, obviously there's a lack of human to human eyes on people context? It's very much through screens. Would you have any advice for sort of bringing personality through past that barrier?
I mean, first thing I should say, those who are interested in auditioning for Verve particularly, that there's some online advice that's there. So the things I say now are me as an individual, I guess, is what I mean. I think, yes, I think auditions should be about people meeting people. And I think it's important that we remember that, so that even in these online auditions, I would encourage everyone to remember that, both the people wanting to audition, but also the people auditioning people, that we are working with people through this thing. And I think my advice would be to look for the opportunities in what's requested of you if you're auditioning for something. I would also encourage people who are putting out auditions to make sure that they're offering the opportunity for people to feel like they can reveal who they are. I think there's an opportunity through, if you're asked to do something creative or something improvisational, that, like, grasp that opportunity and make the most of it, to share who you are. And also, if you're invited to speak, to not feel like that has to be a perfect presentation of something, but more an opportunity for you to talk as if you were talking to someone. I was thinking about, when you proposed the questions to me, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, if this was a normal audition, what do I normally do? And my thing is, and this is something I do at Verve, and it's something I used to do I used to try and do when I was working on the auditions for Scottish Dance Theatre, is that I want everyone to feel welcome when they enter the room. Because I feel like if everyone feels welcome and feels relaxed, it's when everyone does their best work. And so that everyone is able to share who they are and what is possible. And so I say that because I think I'm not going to, like, in relation to, if I'm running an audition at the moment, I'm not going to be there in your living room or your studio, like, creating that atmosphere. My advice would be to try and do that for yourself, whether that's wearing clothes that feel good, whether that's having some music that makes you feel good, whether that's what you do before the moment of filming something, to just try and loosen up and somehow forget about the camera to a point. And I mean, it's also hard because in an audition, I feel so much of it is also, the other thing I try and do is create a sense of community in an audition, that you were all working together on something, because I think that is also supportive. I think if you feel isolated in an audition context, it can feel quite hard. And obviously, in this context, you are isolated. So whatever you can do to also feel at some point of getting your whatever's required of you together, that you're in dialogue with people and you have, yeah. I think, does that answer the?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
I would add,
sorry,
I would just add that I have incredible respect for people going through this audition process at the moment. Like, huge respect. It's hard, and I know that from where we are, we've tried as best we can to provide a supportive system for people, but I totally recognise that it's a challenge, and I think it's good to remember that. Well, I think and I hope most people who are putting out auditions for other people at the moment are aware of that challenge, and I would say to people auditioning that know that I think most people are aware of that challenge as well. That makes sense. And I had one more bit of advice, which was, don't get like, because if you were in an audition, you would just do it, and you would experience it. Yeah, the thing with this filming thing is that you have the opportunity to watch yourself back and be your own critic, and to like overanalyze what's happening. Yeah. And don't get caught in that trap, I would say, of because you could look and refine and go on forever, but actually in the process of doing that, do you start to diminish the personality and the person you are by trying to attain something that's more about what you're seeing on the film. That makes sense.
Yeah, I really like that last point, actually, because I think as dancers, we're so self-critical all the time, and sort of trying to refine to a point, we lose that initial personality that goes into it.
But and you know, when you're watching someone move, like, it's such a, like, to see someone enjoying what they're doing and have passion for what they're doing, it's huge. So you don't want to diminish that in yourself.
Completely get that. Well, thank you. If people sort of want to keep up with what you're doing, follow what you're doing, where should they go to do that?
Well, me personally, I have Instagram and where I post videos and pictures and things, and then I have my website, which is matthewrobinsondance.co.uk. Then the company Verve, we have our Verve Instagram at Verve NSCD, Facebook and Twitter, and also the website, which is nscd.ac.uk/Verve. And then also Verve is part of Northern School of Contemporary Dance. It's our home. It's what we're really part of, and so obviously Northern School of Contemporary Dance also has all its social media channels as well, and its website, and it's through the Northern School of Contemporary Dance website that people can find out about auditioning and applying for the various programs on offer at the school, and specifically Verve, of course. Yeah,
well, that's great. Thank you very much for coming on today. Shared some very, very valuable things. Yeah, I'll see everyone in the next interview.